Hello, welcome to another video. My previous two projects were food focused and this one is no different. It is a little impractical, a little random even, maybe, but it is food focused and sometimes that is enough. So without further ado, let's go upwards to the clouds and visit the Cloud Witch's bakery. Let's start where everything starts, my messy, eternally chaotic crafting table. It's looking okay now, but it will derail soon enough. For now, behold the cheap wooden box I started with. The basics in terms of construction for the box was only to make the flooring out of popsicle sticks, glued down with PVA glue. I made a ladder out of popsicle sticks just to get a general idea of scale, then printed a very rotund doll model I drew to go with it. And voila, wouldn't you know it, it magically became a little doll's body. The spell here being fabric and wire and cotton stuffing and clay. I made too much furniture for the box, so I'm only showing what I actually managed to fit in. The bed was also made of popsicle sticks with little fake pearls underneath, just to raise the level of the bed a little. Then I crocheted a little blanket using a stitch I was trying out for the first time. I made a simple border for it and called it a day, but after making the mattress I realized it was too short, so I crocheted ruffled edges. Since I was already crocheting, I also eyeballed a spiral rug, which I didn't record. For the mattress, I took some old foam I was going to toss and cut it down to the thickness I needed, then covered it with some white fabric. It's very soft. Cloud Witch needs a soft bed after so much baking after all. And a pillow. She also needs a pillow. This one was made with lilac velvet and cotton lace edging. Then I moved on to the part that was my biggest concern in this project, the shelves. I didn't have any option other than to make them with cardboard, which I don't actually love, but at least it was easy to handle. I took the door I had already cut and measured around it to calculate the size of the shelves. Then I cut them all out and began to construct the shelves, gluing them with hot glue. And here's the door. I cut out a shape for what I had wanted to be a stained glass window, but I ended up scrapping it because I didn't feel that it fit the general mood of the bakery. I do want to incorporate that into another project though. I also made a frame for the door. Everything was looking kind of flat, which I honestly should have seen coming because that was a problem I struggled with for a while in the making of this project. So I added these extra cardboard rectangles to give the door some more interest and started to paint it. Everything was given a coat of PVA glue to make the surfaces at least a little more uniform. Fun fact, the door was the only feature of this project whose color I didn't change. Which isn't to say I didn't repaint it eventually. I painted the bed a green I didn't like because I was working in the dark, then repainted it in the morning with a lighter green. You can't really see them in the box, but I know they're there, which will have to suffice. And then I finished the painting with some purple detailing in nondescript shapes so that the bed would have a slight folk art feeling. The doll's body was already finished, so I moved to painting. I did the eyes with gouache and then gave her some blushing with pastels. This pastel kit, as worn out as it is, gives me instant joy when I look at it. The colors! This is the first time I tried making hair out of yarn. This was cotton yarn, which I'm not sure is very viable for what I was trying to do. I see a lot of people use acrylic. I didn't have any since I don't like to crochet with acrylic. The friction of the fibers against the needles makes the experience a little grating. But yeah, I made the wefts and glued them down in a process that was a lot smoother than regular doll hair, so I will have to try yarn again. I made the clothes off camera since the underlayer was a mishmash of lace scraps glued together. You can see me gluing lace edging down here. I removed it later, but the footage still shows how the clothing looks up close. Upper layer done, and here she is with her hairstyle sewed in place. She just needs a hat. Maybe hats, even? 3 of those, I would say. I made them out of felt without a pattern. They are just circles with a hole in the middle and a cone glued to the hole. Nothing too fancy. My plan was to decorate them elaborately, but the decoration looked out of place. It hurts to say this, my friends, but sometimes less is more. You can see me paint the shelves green here. I did not like the green. I did not like this green either, and I did not like the green with the detailing. The purple was passable, but it was still not it. I will paint it again off camera, but for now I will continue. The ladder had been painted green, and I had determined it needed at least a little purple. Why was I painting things green when I had intended for the box to be heavily purple since the beginning? This is where I hit the point. The point, you know, when you start getting exasperated because you don't like what you're doing and you are straying away from your vision, but you feel like you're too deep in and you can't go back? It was looking 1, too green, 2, too flimsy, and 3, too cheap. Which, I mean, it kind of is. It's a cheap wooden box with cardboard shelves. This time, my friends, more was more. Look at me adding detailing and assure yourselves that the joy of creating began to flood my brain again. I used epoxy to make these swirly little things to edge the shelves. You just twist 2 strands together and it comes out a little like a long piece of candy. Is it just me? Well, that was the intention at least. Then, after adding detail until I was happy again, I took a little detour to fix the door. You see, I had planned to add the image of clouds behind the door, but my original door was flat against the wood of the box. It looked strange against the 3D shelves. They were mismatched, like they didn't belong together in the same room. So I made the door 3D by adding more structure to the arch. What I have always done to mark my wood-burning design is to use carbon paper. I made the drawings for the lid and sides, printed them out and taped them onto the carbon paper so I could trace them with pencil. The first piece of carbon paper I used was old, so I had to redo it, but here is the result. Wood burning takes long. I don't know if it takes long for everybody, but my wood burner belonged to my grandmother and I have no clue how old it is. It is very weak though. If you think this sped up footage is boring, then let me grace you with its actual speed. Don't sleep. Here it is sped up again. Yay, done, let's move on. This project is full of original intentions, and here's another one. I had intended to make the box look old by using a stain, and while I liked it after the first coat, it still looked empty. You can see I fixed it little by little with the course of days with the use of more and more paint. For example, the floor was just not working with the stain. It just looked old and dirty. The stain was old too, which honestly, shame on me, but the fix was paint, and so painted it was. I moved on to the outside of the box, adding different shades of purples and a little gold to make the box pop. Having a little gold would look good with the little loaves of bread I would make later. And that's the box after all the paint work. I then attached the cloud backgrounds to the box and fit the door over it. Then I glued all these cotton tufts to make it look like the clouds were just trying to make their way into the bakery. I liked the effect a lot, but I wish I had some other type of batting to do that, because this one had the tendency to cling to the door. I then made a little sandwich composed of a picture of a cloud, some acetate, and the popsicle stick window frame I had made off cam. I made so many little things for this box. They were all made with air dry clay because it is cheap, and if everything went horribly wrong, I wouldn't feel too bad. But I loved everything. I made bread bowls, baguettes, cookies, croissants, candy canes, lollipops, a single pretzel, cinnamon rolls, a single macaron. There's plenty more. After painting, I gave them a little shine with some glaze and sprinkled some of the dried clay I had powdered over the things which I felt needed a little confectioner's sugar. And then I put it all together, which was extremely satisfying.
With all of this done, it's time to visit the Cloud Witch. Don your hats and let's go.
Another day is about to end at the Witch's Bakery. The shelves are stocked, the air fragrant with dough out of the oven, sweet with whipped cream and jam. The wares change every day. It's all up to the witch's whims, although you can be sure to find something to your taste when you enter the shop, tired from flying and cold from cloudy air. If you come, she'll greet you warmly, but give you all the time you need to choose. And there's a lot to choose. One thing is certain though, she will never be wearing the same hat. You will wonder if they serve any purpose. Knowing her, there must be some reason, and it must serve either magic or dough. The sky glows in purples and golds as evening approaches. When the last customer leaves, the sun has already set. The witch retires to her room downstairs and giggles to herself, knowing that tomorrow is another day of the best of customers and joyful bread making.
And that's it. Thank you so much for watching until the end. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a good old thumbs up and maybe a subscribe if you want to see what I have in store. Thank you so much again, and I'll see you next time. Bye!